All right, this video is for DMR number 1. DMR D is going to be about adding and subtracting fractions, which is really similar, and multiplying and dividing fractions, which is also very similar to each other. So again, DMR number 1, our first question is to add these two fractions. So whenever I am adding or subtracting, I must have the same denominator. And you can see in number 1, I do not have the same denominator. So I need to think about what is going to be my common denominator of 4 and 3. And that takes us back to finding that LCD like we did in DMR-C. So the LCD of 4 and 3 is 12. So that means I need to change 1 over 4 to something over 12, plus I need to change 1 over 3 to something over 12. So now I need to find what are my two new numerators. For 1/4, since the 4 is changing to a 12, I'm going to do 4 times 3 is 12. So that must mean I have to do 1 times 3, which is 3. And then I move down here to my 1/3. My 3 changed to a 12, so that's 3 times 4 is 12. So I have to do 1 times 4, which is 4. And now I have two fractions with the same denominator, 3/12 plus 4/12. When you are adding fractions, you are only adding the numerators. So I'm adding 3 plus 4 to get 7/12. I also want to always think, can I simplify? And I cannot simplify this one. So this is going to be my final answer. All right, moving over to number 2, we have a subtraction problem. Two things that I notice about this. First, those are mixed numbers, which you can leave them in that form. You can leave them mixed numbers. But I also notice that I have different denominators. So thinking about the LCD of 8 and 4, the LCD is 8. So 4 and 7/8, that gets to stay the same. But my 1 and my 1/4, I need to change the denominator in that fraction. So again, my first fraction gets to stay the same, 4 and 7/8. But this, my 1 is going to stay the same, but again, my denominator is changing, just the fraction part. So I'm going to think about 4 times what is going to give me 8, and that's 4 times 2 would give me that 8. So I'm going to do 1 times 2, which is 2. So now I am looking at 4 and 7/8 minus 1 and 2/8. And to subtract these mixed numbers, I'm going to first subtract my whole numbers. 4 minus 1 is 3. And then 7/8 minus 2/8. Remember, just the numerators. 7 minus 2 is 5/8. And that cannot be simplified, so it is my final answer. All right, moving on to multiplying and dividing. In multiplying and dividing, you do not need to have the same denominators, so that's nice. We don't have to worry about that at all. In number 3, where I am multiplying, I'm just going to multiply straight across. So I'm going to do 2 times 1 is 2, and I'm going to do 3 times 5 is 15. I'm going to think, can I simplify that? The answer is no, so final answer, 2 over 15. Now, for my division problem, this is the problem where most of you remember your elementary school teachers teaching you to same, change, flip. So again, that first fraction is the same, 5 over 6. We're changing the division sign to a multiplication sign, and then we are flipping that second fraction. So it is only the second fraction that you flip. That is called a reciprocal, by the way, reciprocal. So 1/3 is going to become 3 over 1. Now you have two options here in this problem. You could cross reduce if you want to, but in class it seemed that most people did not like cross reducing. So I'm just going to multiply straight across. 5 times 3 is 15. 6 times 1 is 6. And I am left with 15 over 6, which is improper, so I definitely need to simplify. So I'm going to think to myself, how many times will 6 go into 15? It'll go into 15 2 times, so that's going to be my whole number. And I know that 2 times 6 is 12, so that would leave me with 3. So 3 left over, out of 6. Your denominator stayed that 6. Still not finished though, because 3 over 6 can be simplified. They can both be divided by 3. So this is going to become 2 1/2 for a final answer. All right, that's the end of DMR number 1.